Hey, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever it is where you're at, YouTube. My name is Kenny. Thank you for checking out the channel. Today, what we're going to be doing is working on I want to say it's a 97 Banshee. So this was the trail machine that we've been doing. This is going to be the Trail Banshee that we're going to be building. But we're going to be doing some unique colors to it, pretty much keeping it kind of stock and just dressing everything up and making it look good. So as you saw before what this machine looked like, kind of really rough condition. In the last video, we did get it taken down, but it did have a lot of paint and coating on it. There were some things that we have to fix and modify on the frame, and we're going to be getting to that in this video. We did have all of our parts sitting over here in a pile. Went through, we have new bearings for everything, but of course those are all going to go in later. So for right now in this video, what we're going to be doing, we have my grinder out, we have the frame upside down. We're going to be getting some tabs removed that he's not going to be using, so we're going to be running the 2-into-1. Or at some point in time, we're going to be running the 2 carbs if necessary, but going back to a box really isn't going to happen. So we're going to be moving those box tabs, those OEM front bumper mounts, the front exhaust bumpers, the Taurus little module mount. We're going to move that. So we're just going to get a couple things taken off, and we're going to do that in this video. Hopefully get this whole thing done in this video. We're going to get it blasted. We're going to get it powder coated and done. So we're going to hopefully have a huge transformation by the end of this video. Might take a couple days for me to do it, so be prepared to see my shirt looking different as we go. But let's get close to this machine, take a look at what we have. All right, so just in looking over at it, see there's a couple things like we did take that tab off there. That's really smooth and does well. We have here, so basically I use my cutoff wheel first. I cut off my tab. Then I use my grinding wheel here, thicker, clean, get it closer down to where I want it. Then I use the sanding wheel there, clean it up good, and I use my file and kind of try to make sure I still have a smooth, nice smooth edge on there. So that's what we did here, and we're just working on this one. Some of them are a little iffy because the grinder only fits in there one way decent. And we're also going to be removing these few. We took these tabs off in the last one. We're not taking those tabs off here because we're going to be running the CDI stuff where it goes. But like this one, we had that one come off. I do need to put a zert in there, grease zert. No, I'm sorry, a nut zert in there. Weld this hole shut. Weld that one closed. Yeah, we got a couple things that we're going to be working on here. And this is the big one we're going to be working on with the foot pegs. So I cut that extra off, which is fine, but this is how it was. So I'm just going to weld that on so it doesn't come loose. But over here is where it's going to be a bigger change. And I'm just going to see how we're going to take care of that once it's all done. But we're going to go ahead and get the camera set up, and I'm going to start some cutting. So we're going to get this tab off real quick. So before we get too far into this, I am going to say safety first. Make sure you wear some gloves while doing this. And over that, eye protection. You can lose a finger, but you want to keep your eyes. But anyways, we're going to go ahead and use the cutoff wheel, get that main bracket off there that holds on the Taurus module. We're going to use the pliers, go ahead and take the rest of that off, and then start working this piece of metal down. Here in a second, I am going to switch over and use the grinding wheel instead of the cutoff wheel. Grinding wheel helps get a lot of the bulk of that metal down, and it gets us closer to where we need to be without destroying the cutoff wheels. They're a lot thinner. Then we're going to flip over to our flapper disc or our sanding disc and then smooth this out and make it look a lot better. So as I stated, use gloves. Eye protection is a must, and we'll have something nice here in a minute. See, like right that feels real good on my hand there, really smooth. So that's going to blast out real good. And then that's going to take powder really well without having no issues. But man, that other stuff is on there thick. Get there. But that's all going to come off. So we got a couple more to do. We got to get this little tab here off. A couple of these little things here. But yeah, plenty of work ahead. All right, so glasses, hat. I'm going to be getting some blasting done. We're going to go over the frame really quick sitting here. So I'll do my blasting outside because I don't have a blasting room yet, but we're going to get that done. Got me a big piece of plastic out so I can save as much of the media as possible for right now to reuse it. But let's get on here and take a look at this frame. All right, so here we are. This undercoating came off a good bit with that heat, but I got that cap welded shut here. Grind it down, got a nut zert there, put my nut zerts here. I wanted to see how easy this stuff was gonna be able to come off. Hopefully it comes off pretty well with the blasting, or it's just gonna take me a little longer. I took those brackets right there off, as well as the one here. It's a little piece of extra, but that one's off as well. Down here, there was a little spot, a hole there that I had patched. Here, took these front tabs off. Need to get some of this dirt and stuff out, extra dirt while I'm out here. Retapped all the threads. I did that a little bit ago before, but I think that's pretty much all that I had to do. I did put a little drop of weld on the back of this here to hold that nut there, and that one's gonna stay on. I was gonna take it off, but I'm concerned that if I can't get it back on, it's gonna be bigger issues than not. Because my welder is not high enough power to heat up some 1/4-inch steel like that. But we're gonna go ahead and start blasting this half and get it rolling. All right, so here we are right now. It's about 7:15. I started this at about 4:30. So about 3 hours in. I probably have about another hour left to do it all. So it takes me a little bit with just my Harbor Freight hopper, and you see the tarp. And with that, this is the second time I've emptied it. So it's been 100 pounds of media. And what I do is just scoop it back up with a 5-gallon bucket, strain it, put it back in. That was also in my 3-hour time. But we're gonna flip it over, get real close, take a look at it. Get it hung up just for now, because I think I'm gonna be done. Gonna go in there and eat me some freaking Peking. But let's take a look. So it's crazy how much stuff was on it. And we went from this to now, blasted and looking good. So, I mean, it takes a good bit of time going through it all, getting all the nooks and crannies, and making sure you've gotten everything pretty good. So after I get it blasted, so I got a little bit right there in that area. After I get it blasted real good and where I want it to be, I'm going to put it in the oven, blow it off, put it in the oven, gas it out. Then maybe just take a good detail. See, like right here, I got some dirt in that area. Just gotta make sure you get all these nooks cleaned out like you want them. Pretty sure that goes all the way through. So we'll figure it out. Yep, I was right. So once I get it all re-blasted and all that, it'll look good. I'm trying to blast off some of this OEM slag as well too, but basically just have this front area here left. But rest of it looks great. And so we got those tabs off. Like I said, all that stuff is gonna look real good once the powder's on. Look at that. All right. So it's time to get up all this media, get in the house, get in the shower. Like I said, when I'm doing all this, just make sure you all have eye protection on. I do have the eye protection wearing. You still get some stuff in your eyes. I am wearing a M3 mask that I had bought a long time ago for some painting, so it works great. I wear a hat just to keep some of the media off the body. I did the other day when I did it, had like a raincoat on because it just kind of keeps the stuff off of you. However, I'm doing this outside and it has to be a good temperature. Fall won't be so bad when it's like 70 degrees out and 80 degrees, but it's been like 90 and it rained this morning. It's crazy humid and you will cook. So, all right, I'm gonna go ahead and get this inside, get it hung up for right now, and we'll continue this video after I get all that done. No need to go back at that. All right, so we've gotten our process pretty much done here with the frame. So as you see white sitting right here. We're gonna get really close, but I'm gonna let you know my process that I did. I do my standard, I blasted everything. It took me roughly, I would say 4.5 to 5 hours to get this one blasted, which is a good bit of time. As hopefully this channel grows and this side hobby that I do grow, that I'll be able to get some larger equipment and be able to have something a little bit more industrial, because I know the industrial size ones, they're not spending 5 hours blasting. So, and I saw a couple of them online, people doing them, and it does not take this long with the other stuff, but I'm using a standard Harbor Freight hopper that's 100 pounds, and that's including me refilling it, straining it, and all that. So we're gonna go ahead and flip over and talk about it here in a minute. But I blasted it all, get it all sprayed off, We'll get it all air blasted off after all the materials off of it. Then I'll put it in the oven, do a gas out on it, take it back out of the oven, make sure everything looks good. Let it cool down to temperature, put 2 coats of the color on it, and the Polar White has extremely good hardness and all that, and it is a gloss color, so we did not do a clear on this one, just for the fact that sometimes the clear on this one, kind of with me, if discolors it a little bit, makes it a little less white, and I didn't want that. But this, I'll post a little ratings right up here. Extreme hardness, extreme UV protection, extreme chemical resistant, salt resistant, so we're good. So I'll put the 2 coats on there, let it be done, did the full cure out. But before it was fully cured, what I did do was put a coat of black on the foot peg, but we'll talk about that here in a minute. Yeah, so here is where we're at now, to what it looked like. Definitely a mess. Layers of what looked like undercoating or some kind of material on it, multiple layers of paint. So I think there was silver red and then the black on top, but back here we are to the white. Everything blasted, everything looking good. So we did remove the OEM stops for the brakes. So these are the brake holders here. We removed those. We removed the Taurus module area there. That's gone. The front bumpers for the exhaust, those are gone. Coming around through here, we got off the airbox stays for the front and the airbox stays for the rear. Over here, I did weld that hole in on the top and put a nut zert there. So clean that up to where it looks really good there. Put nut zerts here for the rear plastics and put nut zerts here for the rear bumper. Also up top, we got rid of the brake stay that went here, so that's cleaned up and looks good. But yeah, we're off to the races now. We're doing good. So we do have our steering steel bearing already in there. I went ahead and put that back in, packed it with grease. So there's a seal on these. I'm gonna try to find out what I did on my brakes. So there is a seal that you can just pop off there and pack that in with grease and then reseat that seal in there. So I put extra grease in these. Some people are pro this, some people are not pro this, but I decided to do it to keep extra grease inside of my stuff to make sure that things last longer. But right here is the foot peg that was welded on. As you see, we did have it all blasted. So what we did was get this all coated white, put the black on there, and then cleaned up. It was a little harder to clean down in here just because this is super porous. But overall, I think it turned out really good on that side. And this one was removed. So we just went ahead and reinstalled that along with the foot brake. So this is where we're at with those two. Oh, man, we're looking good, aren't we? Are we freaking looking good? So I'm going to get my thread tapper out. We're going to tap these threads. And then we'll be getting this video closed up. Now, I've already went through this once with the thread tap, but I'm going to go ahead and go through it now. I think this one is the 6. And we're going to go through all these threads here. Make sure we get them all good. It should be simple. We're just going to be basically cleaning out any of the powder that was in there for now. But one of the things you do have to understand is that when you do this, and after you blast them, you need to make sure you put some kind of bolt in there, because if you don't, it's going to be bare raw metal, and you're going to run the risk of it rusting and having rust come out of that. So everything needs to have a thread in it, and I usually put the thread lock runner as well to make sure everything is able to come out later on. But let's get this done.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't hit yet, damn, ain't that great. I don't wanna go to work, cause my boss is a jerk, and I'm not even that paid. I need a change in my life, cause I don't feel alive, and there's nothing that makes me happy. Hold my beer for a minute, I'm about to quit my job, cash in for a ticket. I'm going on a trip, and I don't plan to visit. I'm gonna stay there till I feel like I'm winning, and this is just the beginning. I need a big change, help me feel like living. I need a big swing, home runs I'm hitting, and I'll never look back, moving on till I get it all. And we all got dreams, we all want things, but what you gonna do for it? How you gonna move for it? What you gonna be? And do you believe you can do anything? What you gonna do for it? How you gonna move for it? What you gonna be?
So there you have it. We've completed up part 2 of this video series here of the 97 Trail Banshee. So what we're going to be doing is, what we got done was we got it blasted. everything taken off of it. We got it gassed out, we got it powder coated, we got the threads tapped, and then we got some air blown through all the threads. So right now, at this point, we're ready to reassemble and get some more parts put on. But as you see, those parts are sitting right here, needing blasted as well. So that's kind of crazy in comparison to what these parts look like to this. But we're gonna get these here blasted. Something a little bit different with this setup, but we're gonna run it and see how it works. If you enjoy this kind of content, hit that like button and subscribe. If you're interested in this kind of content, check out the Retro Mod 93 I did over here. Check out my 2005 that I did over there.